Fellow South Africans, welcome to the official live broadcast of the 2019 Manifesto launch of the Democratic Alliance. Coming to you live from the financial heart of South Africa and powerhouse of Africa, where thousands of South Africans have descended on the Rand Stadium, Johannesburg. We look forward to hearing from Musi Maimane, the leader of the Democratic Alliance. Stay tuned.
On YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. Welcome to the 2019 DA Manifesto launch. Of course, my name is Leon Ompiti and I'm the DA Youth Federal Leader. Today the DA is launching its manifesto. We are telling you, the viewer, what we want to do for South Africans. I've received an instruction from the Federal Leader, Musi Maimane, who has said, my job is to take you, the viewer, across the stadium, make sure you know what's happening, who's on stage, who is speaking, and make sure that you have all the information that you need. But please stay tuned. We're going to have a few interviews coming up. We have Herman Mashaba, the mayor of Johannesburg. We will get an opportunity to ask him some questions. We have Pumzile van Dam. We have the Gauteng premier candidate, Solim Simanga, coming right up very shortly. But as you can see, the stage, the energy, it's exciting, it's vibrant. We are launching the manifesto of the people. We are launching the DA's One SA for All. So please stay tuned with us as we take South Africans on this journey with us, the DA. Of course, we've had a number of performances. Ricky Rick was just on stage, so there's a lot of excitement, more artists coming on. Currently, we have African Roots on stage, making sure everyone is dancing. So please stay with me as we make sure we take it forward.
Unity is where everyone can sit down and talk about the issues that are surrounding them.
Because to build a country, to take our country forward, we need to understand each other.
We have to live together, both black and white.
Diversity to me means people coming together from different backgrounds, different age groups.
No matter if you're white, green, black, wherever you are, wherever you live, what you speak or what you eat,
we all bleed the same blood at the end of the day, so we are all human.
Unity is one of the key things that we really need in South Africa for South Africa to be a functional country.
I think as a nation we have to come together and make South Africa a better place.
For South Africa to realize its potential, its full potential, it's important for South Africans to work together.
I'm a person who was inspired by Nelson Mandela. And the only way to take the dreams of Nelson Mandela forward is the DA, because the DA believe in the freedom and making sure that the society, all of us, black and white, will live together in harmony.
DA is different because it's a party that represents different South Africans.
They do not limit you to a certain box, so you are able to be who you are beyond what you even thought of becoming.
It brings people together. It brings South Africa together. It makes us realize that, you know what, we can do so much if we work together.
Be it if you are homosexual, be it if you are Muslim, Christian.
There's white here, there's black here. And we communicate, we talk, we laugh.
Everyone is free to feel comfortable in their own skin and to be who they really are.
Because we share the same values and the same vision with our white counterparts, including Indians or Colored, any other South African.
If we want change in our community, we must vote the DA, because the DA is the only party that can take South Africa forward.
Welcome back. My name is Luyolo Mpiti, umfana wa Timkhulu Pungane, Eastern Cape KwaSkhizazana, Molweni Ninjani, Sanbonani, Khuyamora. We are here at the Rand Stadium where the DA is launching its manifesto campaign to the elections in 2019. So please stay tuned with us as we take you through the stadium, make you know what is actually happening around us. We will be your guide, taking you, the viewer, forward. Please make sure that you follow us on Twitter, hashtag part of the conversation. Join us on Facebook at Democratic Alliance, as well as on Instagram at Democratic Alliance as well. So please make sure you are keeping informed with what we are doing. As you can see, we are now about minutes away from having the federal leader of the DA, Mmusi Maimane, addressing us as South Africans, telling us what he's going to do for us. Now, what is interesting about what you see in the stands, there's a lot of young people. And what we know is young people are tired of not being able to find jobs. Young people are tired of going to universities, TVET colleges, and not being able to find a job after graduating. These are the issues facing young people. And that's why you see a lot of young people that are here who want to hear what the DA wants to do for young people. And of course, as the DA Youth Federal leader, the party that can deliver young people and make sure that opportunities continue to flow. Now, as you can see, it's quite hot. It's a very nice day. We're going to be walking around, and in a short while I'll take you through the stands so that we can speak to some of the people, find out what they're looking to hear, what are some of the messages that they want to hear from the leader of the Democratic Alliance, Mmusi Maimane. And of course, there's been a lot of artists performing. We have African roots currently on the stage. There's a lot of excitement. As you can see there, young people. Let's see if we can chat to one of them. So, like I said, there's a lot of young people here. We want to know what the DA is going to do for young people. So I want to ask these guys, are you voting DA?
Yes, we are voting DA.
Are you, so what are one of the things that you want to hear from the leader of the Democratic Alliance, Mmusi Maimane?
Employment to end in South Africa. Want people to get employment. Because there's nothing that can happen without employment.
And the project of ESCOM must also come to an end.
All right. So what I want us to do is see if we can get past this fence and make sure that we're having fruitful conversations. So let's keep walking. Let's see what else is happening on the stage. Again, what you see, the stage is packed. It's full of people. This is a stadium that has a capacity of 20,000 people. So what you see here today is over 20,000 supporters who have come out to support the DA, who believe that the DA is indeed the only hope for South Africans. The message is clear: one South Africa for all. So as you see, we've got some bikes out here. I don't know if you can get a quick glimpse of that. Let's just walk there. See how guys.
Ladies and gentlemen,
so let's continue walking.
our young democrats, born and bred in Gauteng Free State. She brought you federal progress in our beautiful city of Tshwane.
So we are about to have the motorcade taking place right now. As you can see, the bikes are all out. The people are excited. And of course, we are excited because today is a historical day where we as the DA speak to South Africans after we've listened to them for a number of weeks, traveling the country, hearing what our people need, understanding their challenges. Today, we are presenting the manifesto. So we are about to take it back to the camera crew up there. So please stay tuned with us. Thank you.
Amandla! You know, it's so nice to look outside and to see black people, white people, Indian people, colored people, South Africans from all walks of life. Our diversity is precisely what makes us strong. Our future lies together, and let no person tell you otherwise, for when we are united, we can go forward. I remember 1994 very well. I remember how we felt. We all had hope. We all had belief that we could actually make it work. I want you to remind yourself about how it felt to be a united movement, a South Africa for all, a goal we all truly believed in. And then I want you to know and ask yourself, which South Africa would you rather live in? A South Africa that is divided, that is going backwards towards poverty, unemployment? Or are you with me and you want to stand together for a South Africa that has a shared future, a shared tomorrow, a prosperous tomorrow? Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our beautiful land. May God bless you. Amandla! Amandla! Amandla!
When we launched the Democratic Alliance's 2019 Election Manifesto, South Africans from every color and background have gathered in Johannesburg today to share our vision of one South Africa for all. As we prepare for our national government, for our national election in May, may we remember that South Africa is a beautiful country with boundless potential to be everything it should be. And so today we present our manifesto to show how we intend to better the lives of South Africans. Today, we honor democracy. Today, we celebrate a South Africa where all those who live in it can and should belong. Now united behind our leader Mmusi Maimane's vision vision of one South Africa for all, we will continue to fight for an undivided nation. We will continue to fight for a South Africa where its people are put first. And now, under the leadership of the DA, we will have a government that serves the people. We will have a government that will bring opportunities to each and every South African, whether they live in the bright and big cities or in the rolling hills of our rural areas. Now, Democrats, let's show South Africa that the DA is the only hope for a united future. Let's show South Africans that if we're serious about change, the DA is the only option. Now, welcome to our 2019 Manifesto launch. Viva DA, viva!
Viva!
Viva DA, viva!
Viva!
I get it, Mara, we are in Gauteng. And so, to officially welcome us into this province, please help me welcome our Gauteng Provincial leader, Ntate John Moody!
Allah, John Moody, Allah!
Democrats and fellow South Africans, we are here today to present our manifesto to the people of South Africa. It is appropriate that we offer to South Africa's launch here in Gauteng, for this province is the frontier in the struggle for a South Africa with prospects for a better future for all. Let me take this opportunity to welcome all Democrats who have come from near and far to be here this morning, this afternoon. Welcome to the province of Gauteng. The DA is the only political party that continues to go out and promote the vision of Nelson Mandela, thereby striving to build and achieve one South Africa for all in a rainbow nation. Fellow South Africans, you will see that the DA manifesto is not only about what we wish to offer to you. It is about expanding on the opportunities we already offer to the citizens in the local governments, the metros, and the province of the Western Cape, where we do govern. Fellow South Africans, 15 million of our citizens and countrymen enjoy a better life where the DA governs. I have no doubt that after the votes are counted in May, we will have a DA-led government in this province of Gauteng.
Yeah,
Viva DA, viva!
Viva!
Change is coming. Yeah, we will turn this province around and get this government to work. For you know what? When Gauteng works, South Africa will work. The DA manifesto addresses the most pressing challenges we as a nation face. We provide workable strategies to combat the scourge of crime by looking at professionalizing the SAPS and ridding its ranks of those corrupt officers. We strive to ensure that at the minimum we have one job in each home. We understand that in order to reverse the high rate of unemployment, which affects us all, we must stimulate and grow our economy. Where the DA governs, we root out corruption. For corruption robs our people of the opportunities of a better life. We will make better use of our army to patrol and protect our porous borders. We will clean out the rampant corruption within the customs services and officers at our border gates. As the DA, we are serious about improving the living conditions of all our people. We are about striving to provide our people with the highest levels of service delivery in every area of government. Fellow South Africans, you have the power to bring about change, and that power is your vote. Remember, fellow South Africans, that you get the government that you vote for. 25 years on, and the ANC continues to fail us. It is time to give our beautiful country an opportunity and a chance to thrive. I therefore urge you, my fellow countrymen, to vote for the Democratic Alliance in the elections come May. Because you know what? Only the DA can save South Africa. Amandla! Away to! Forward Democratic Alliance, forward! Forward South Africa, forward! Let us never surrender on our opportunity and our vision for a better South Africa. Come May, South Africa will be saved because Gauteng will be governed by the DA-led government. Amandla! Power to the people!
Power! Viva General John Moody! Viva!
Viva! Thank you, Ntate John Moody. Since his leadership in the city, the people of Johannesburg have seen change. And now to officially welcome us into Johannesburg, ladies and gentlemen, some call him Papa Action, and we just simply call him Herman Mashaba!
Fellow Democrats, fellow believers in one South Africa for all, welcome to our city of Johannesburg. Over the last 2 years, the people of Johannesburg decided they wanted change. They wanted an end to corruption. They wanted a government to grow the economy and create jobs for our people. They wanted delivery of affordable housing. They demanded service delivery. And actually, they wanted the rule of law. Fellow Democrats, I disagree with President Cyril Ramaphosa. It wasn't the last 9 years that we lost. It has been the last 25 years that we have lost. But fellow Democrats, I can assure you that we can save this country. Because when Johannesburg, we are turning things around. Our inner city revitalization program is now in motion, building affordable accommodation for our people and students, working with the private sector. Daily, fellow Democrats, we are unapologetic about this, engaging with Home Affairs to deal with the question of undocumented foreign nationals. This issue has reached crisis levels. And the DA is the only party that is prepared to show leadership in this matter. Fellow Democrats, in Johannesburg, we are fighting corruption, investigating over 4,000 cases involving over 24 billion rands. Our forensic unit has defected over 700 cases, and many more are still to come. I'm sure all of you are aware we have recruited an additional 1,500 police officers who will shortly be out in our streets to protect our people, increasing the force by at least 50%. A specialized K9 unit is waging war on drug dealers in our cities and our communities. We have, colleagues and Democrats, extended operating hours of our clinics and opened them late into the night and over weekends. Johannesburg now, for the first time, has drug rehabilitation centers. We are providing essential services in informal settlements, such as electrifying them, providing water and ablution facilities to give our people dignity. Fellow Democrats, fellow believers in One South Africa for all, the change we are delivering in Johannesburg can be achieved everywhere in our country. It shows that when government tackles corruption and direct resources of government away from the politicians and towards the people, that change is possible. I therefore, fellow Democrats, call on you on the 1st of May, on the 8th of May this year, the people of South Africa have to vote for change. Vote for building a One South Africa for all. Vote DA. I call on you to say DA is an alternative on building the South Africa for all of us as South Africans. And Amandla, Viva DA, thank you very much, South Africans, and look forward to your vote on the 8th of May. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, Tata Herman. South Africa, to officially open our launch, please help me welcome warmly our federal chairperson, Tata Ethel Trollip!
Viva Ethel Trollip! Viva! Viva! Lead Ethel Trollip, lead!
Sanbonani, Dumelang, Goeiemiddag. The May elections are the most important yet in our democratic history, and the DA is going to make history again. The proverbial post-liberation honeymoon in our country is over, and our country needs desperately to enter into a new phase of democracy where the DA will lead it to prosperity. Welcome to each and every one of you who have chosen to be part of Team One South Africa and our endeavor to build One South Africa for all. Awukho omnye umbutho ofana nathi. Awukho omnye umbutho ovakala nathi. Siyazidla ngobuDA bethu. Welcome also to all of you watching from home to see what our manifesto and government blueprint is that sets out how we will address the most important challenges that face South Africans on a daily basis. It is also my pleasure to thank and encourage our party leader, Mmusi Maimane, for having the vision and the courage to take our party to a place that no other political party has been to in South Africa, to build one party for all South Africans. Our mission is to become the political home and the government for all South Africans. It is unique. It is our commitment to eradicating corruption in all of its forms, where we will send criminals to prison and not to Parliament. We aim to focus singularly on growing our economy to create jobs and to ensure that at least one person in every household has a job. That is the only way to bring dignity to poor households. We are determined to eradicate the scourge of crime and violence that is devastating our communities and repelling foreign investment. Our police are simply not coping. they are under-resourced, they are underpaid, they are demoralized, and they are really poorly led. Our country's national sovereignty is being compromised daily by abject border control. And the economic impact of this is pathetic. It is a situation where even our biosecurity is being compromised on a daily basis. It affects every single South African and every single documented, lawful, legal, foreign citizen in this country. The DA continues to show that where we govern well. And we govern better than any of our competitors. Proof of this is the fact that in the Western Cape, the city of Cape Town, the city of Johannesburg, the city of Tshwane are the most sought-after destinations of opportunity and hope in South Africa. The Western Cape job creation statistics show for a fact that we have created more jobs in the Western Cape in the last year than all the other 8 provinces put together. Hayi siyakwazi ukwakha imisebenzi thina siyi Democratic Alliance. That fact alone is reason to put the DA in government. But despite our successes in government, the political commentators and the analysts continue to write us off, despite our growth in every successive election. In 2016, we brought change to 4 metro cities and many municipalities across the country. 15 million citizens have come to experience the impact of good governance. The people of South Africa will again prove the naysayers wrong. Ek sien ook deesdae daar's baie borde wat opgehang word wat sê slaan terug. Wel, ek was geleer toe ek nog jonk was dat as daar gebeklei gaan word, moet jy eers slaan en jy moet hard slaan. As jy terugslaan is dit te laat. En ons weet dat die Demokratiese Alliansie die enigste party is in Suid-Afrika wat die slaankrag het om die ANC plat te slaan. This is where your and my and our collective efforts are important to bring change in South Africa. We need to go to every single household in South Africa, to knock on every single door and encourage South Africans to vote for their future, to vote for the future of their children. The only way that that can happen is the DA way, and we want you to take that message to every single household in South Africa. Viva DA, viva!
Viva!
Viva DA, viva!
Viva!
Thank you, Dr. Trollip.
Welcome back to the Rand Stadium, where the DA is launching its manifesto today. Of course, my name is Luyolo Mpiti. I'm the DA Youth Federal Leader, and as per instruction of the Federal Leader of the Democratic Alliance, Mmusi Maimane, I'm taking you, the viewer, inside the ins and outs of the stadium and what is actually happening in the manifesto. As I said, we do have a guest that we have. We have the Mayor of the city of Johannesburg, Ntate Hemen Mashaba. Hi, Mr. Mayor, how are you?
Fine, how are you, Luyolo? Thank you very much. What an electric moment here. Unbelievable to see so many Democrats coming out to come and listen to our leader today unveiling the manifesto.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That was such a great speech. I think the question that I have is, what are some of the exciting projects that are happening in Johannesburg that the residents of Johannesburg can look forward to?
Well, I think ever since we took over this administration under a multi-party difficult government, but one thing for sure, as you remember, we were only given 3 months to be in government. We are now almost 3 years into this government. We've really made some great strides in the city of Johannesburg. On the 1st of December 2016, I made a commitment to the residents of Johannesburg that I'm going to take back the inner city, turn it into a construction site, provide employment opportunities to our people, build affordable accommodation, working with the private sector. It's exciting for me, particularly for the youth that you represent. We have now in the city of Johannesburg opening opportunity centers throughout the city of Johannesburg where we want to teach our kids, our youth, to be entrepreneurs. Because we sit in a country today where our people are buying the products from everywhere else, from people of the world. We want our youth to be entrepreneurs, to be the employers of our people.
And there we have it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think as a young person, I'm very concerned about the youth unemployment in this country, in South Africa. What are some of the things that are happening in Johannesburg for young people?
Well, I think as I've indicated, for me, the inner city revitalization program is an exciting project. When I launched this project in 2017, I was supported by council. And last year, I made available 84 buildings for the private sector to give us proposal. This past Thursday, I put in another 70 buildings there that are out there for tender. So we've got 150 buildings that we've taken over, offering them to the private sector to provide employment opportunities to our people, build affordable accommodation. But also very interesting, working with the University of Johannesburg. As I speak to you right now, we've got 100 youth that we are trained in artisan training, be it bricklayers, electricians, carpenters, and so forth. And I went there 2 weeks ago. I was invited by the university with our economic department. We've got 100 of them, and majority of them being female. Now, what really, for me, made me really very proud. As you are aware, the construction sector used to be dominated by men. Now, young ladies, men, who are ready actually to take over this construction industry. Some of them actually saying to me, Mayor, one day we're going to see a woman in South Africa being a CEO of one of the biggest construction companies in the country. That is my wish. That is my dream. And I can assure you it's going to happen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for joining us. Of course, this is the city of Johannesburg. Ndate Himen Mashaba, the mayor of Johannesburg. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. To the issues and problems confronting our people. It's DA members of parliament who have been at the front line of holding the corrupt ruling elite to account. It's the DA that has been exposing the fat cats, the Gupta grabbers, and those Bosasa leeches. And every day, it's DA MPs who are standing up for ordinary South Africans, speaking out for our people, for the poor, the downtrodden, the homeless, and the unemployed. And just in these last few months, the DA's called for debates in Parliament on the issues of our time. We have stood firm on those frontiers of freedom. We've tackled state capture head on. We fought against the petrol price increases. And at the end of last year, when billions were robbed from people in South Africa in the VBS bank accounts by politicians in the ANC and the EFF, and they're wreaking havoc on the lives of those poor pensioners and stokvels, we were unafraid to call them what they are, VBS looters. And just this week, it was the DA who called for the debate on Eskom, so that we can keep the lights on in South Africa. With almost 10 million unemployed, it's only the DA who has ideas to get this economy moving, to get South Africa back to work. Only the DA has the real political clout to make Parliament work for the people. Die ander partye het nie die moed of die mag om teen die ANC te staan nie. It's the DA in Parliament asking the questions. It's the DA in Parliament holding the executive to account because we have the size to do it. The DA in Parliament has the numbers to serve the South African people and not steal from them. The DA in Parliament has the answers to the questions of our time. And if we can do all of this with 102 members, imagine what we're going to do when we've got the majority. A new majority where our children will be learning, where our neighborhoods are safe, where our economy is growing, and where jobs and skills are being created, homes being built. And we can have all of this, and we can have so much more, colleagues, but only under a DA-led government. Because, Democrats, the truth is simply this. If you want a lecture about what is wrong with South Africa, ask our opponents. If you want something done about it, speak to the DA. Viva DA, viva!
Viva!
Tata DA, tata!
Tata!
Forward to the 8th of May, forward!
Forward!
Welcome back. We are live at the Rand Stadium where we are launching the DA's manifesto launch. As I've said before, the leader of the Democratic Alliance has given me strict instructions to take you, the viewer, into the stadium and find out what's happening. We do have our next guest. We have the federal chairperson of the Democratic Alliance and my leader, Athol Trollip. Molo Tatanijani. Leader, I want to know from you, what are the 5 key things that people watching this manifesto launch, what must they take away with them when they go home tonight?
Well, first of all, you're the youth leader of the Democratic Alliance, and we have to look after our children. I'm a parent, I have 2 young children, and one of those children has a child. So I, as a responsible adult, must secure their futures and make sure that they have a future. So we believe that the ANC has let our children down. With youth unemployment over 50%, the ANC is responsible for destroying the futures of young people. And the Democratic Alliance is the only party that has shown that we can create jobs. And young people need jobs to break the cycle of dependency that the ANC has so carefully put together. So apart from the economy growing and creating jobs, we need to make sure that our people are safe in their homes, especially our students when they go to university, our children when they go to school, our mothers when they go out at night. Safety is crucial. So we need to empower our police, we need to resource our police, and we need to make sure that our police are properly paid and valued. And we need also to make sure that our borders are controlled, not only for national sovereignty, but also for biosecurity. We have seen what foot and mouth has done to our rural economy. It's destroying the rural economy. We've seen what stock theft is doing to the rural economy. It's destroying it. It's difficult to make a living as a farmer as it is, but the government is not supporting farmers to make a living and feed this nation and to be profitable. So these are the issues we need to talk about. And then, of course, corruption. Corruption, you have to turn the neck off of corruption. And we did that in Nelson Mandela Bay, and it unfortunately meant the end of our government. But the people have seen what has happened in Nelson Mandela Bay. Since the coalition of corruption has come in there, people are being assassinated over contracts. That never happened under a DA government. So we believe we have a recipe for service delivery without corruption, a recipe to create jobs, and a recipe to build a future for this country.
Now, leader, on a lighter note, I'm told this stadium has about 20,000 capacity. What do you make out of the turnout today?
I keep smiling because the DA is the only party that keeps growing in every election, and the political commentators say we're going to go backwards, and the electorate keeps showing them every election that we're the only party going forwards. Iyandihlekiso, iyandonwabisa, iyandizalisa loo nto. Enkosi.
Nanko ke uleader wam. Enkosi, thank you for joining us. We do have one more guest after this. Phumzile van Dam, will be chatting to her and finding out what is her views for today. Thank you again. We are now going to link back into the performance on stage. Thank you.
Yeah, we love you!
May her glory be lifted high.
Heer as, hoor ons gebede. Bless us.
Protect us, you children.
Boloka setšhaba sa heso. Intervene
and end all conflicts.
From the depths of our seas, over everlasting mountains, ringing out from our blue heavens, sounds the call to come together.
Nkosi, sikeleni Africa. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land. Amandla!
Ladies and gentlemen, Gauteng deserves change. Whom I'm about to welcome onto the stage now is a man from humble beginnings. He's all the way from Atteridgeville in Pretoria. Please help me welcome onto the stage our Gauteng Premier candidate, Salim Simanga.
Hoi, hoi, Salim Simanga, hoi, hoi! Hoi, hoi! Jana, Salim Simanga, Jana! Jana, Salim Simanga, Jana! Kuma, makuna, kuma!
Africa, good morning. Gauteng should be the golden opportunity, a province where possibilities are indeed alive, where people can realize their dream in a thriving economy, where there is a job in every home, where our borders are indeed secured, and where families don't have to worry themselves and despair when they think about the future that their children will have. Despite the incredible potential, Gauteng is indeed held back. It is held back by corruption, mismanagement, and maladministration by Amasela, Siabazi, Gutubabani. The time has come for them to leave. The people of this province have been struggling for the longest of time. They've been struggling, and this was due to the impact of corruption, and this has to come to an end. Our vision is for Gauteng to ensure that where people live, we are not subjecting ourselves to exploitation in order to access job opportunities. We have heard of jobs for sex, or we have heard of cash for jobs. We are saying no more should that happen in Gauteng. We want the Gauteng where opportunities are freely available and they are not blocked by corrupt patronage networks. The DA is the only party that can and will unseat the ANC here in Gauteng to bring the change that the people of Gauteng have long asked for. In 2016, in 2016, some said it was impossible for us to defeat the ANC in Tshwane and Johannesburg. But reality, never Jesu, Jesu fitlile go Tshwane, Jesu fitlile go Johannesburg, Jesu weta mo Gauteng. We want to say, we will make sure in 2019 that we bring change by ending corruption in Gauteng, by opening up more opportunities for our people. The change that we only know that will only complete and will ensure that we live a dignified life that Utata Nelson Mandela once dreamed of this beautiful province. In Johannesburg and in Tshwane and Midvaal, we are working hard to bring Gauteng from the bottom up. In just 2 years, we have managed to do away with a lot of corruption. What the ANC was unable to do and unwilling to do, we have done here in Gauteng. We are turning these cities around by putting a stop to the dozens of dodgy tenders to an end. We are putting a stop and we are ensuring that we are stabilizing government. We are ensuring that we are stabilizing our finances and we are laying a foundation for a clean and accountable government for the people. The result of our efforts is that can be seen by the Moody's that has been given, or the credit rating that was given by Moody's, where we have ensured that 11 billion rand of investment has been attracted in Johannesburg and in Tshwane. And that Makura is busy going around claiming that 80% of the jobs that were created last year were created in Gauteng. We're saying yes, they're created in Gauteng. But what you should tell the people of Gauteng is that 80% of those jobs were created in Tshwane and in Johannesburg. Amandla. The DA-run Midvaal remains the best performing municipality in Gauteng with the highest economic growth and the lowest unemployment rate. More needs to be done to undo the years of wasted opportunities under an ANC government. By voting the DA and giving your support, we will ensure that what we have started doing in the metros continue to be done in the whole province of Gauteng. We have proven track record that where we root out corruption, where we create more opportunities, people tend to have a better life. I want to say, let's stop toy-toying on the street and toy-toy on the ballot box. Let's stop toy-toying on the street and burning our schools. Let us make sure that we bring Gauteng, we bring South Africa change that is so desperately needed. Amandla! Amandla! Amandla!
Viva Zoli Msibanga, viva!
And we've been talking to old people, young people. We've been talking to business people, both formal and informal. People are concerned about levels of crime. People are concerned about unemployment rates that seems to be rising and rising instead of coming down. I've just spoken to a lady across the road who's saying that she's got 3 kids. None of her kids are working. We now need to ensure that going forward, we find permanent solution towards problems of crime, towards problem of unemployment, especially employment amongst young people. You know, as a leader, you should be able to listen to people, but not only listen, but you're able to then put into practice what the people are saying. And this is why we are here. We're here to listen to what people are saying.
Let's welcome Team South Africa member against state capture, Natasha Matoni!
Hoi hoi, Natasha, hoi hoi!
Hoi hoi!
Viva Natasha, viva!
Viva!
Tata Natasha, tata!
South Africa, welcome our Team South Africa member for students. Another premier candidate with angry love.
Hoi hoi, Andrew, hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Viva Andrew, viva. Viva. Jana to Jana.
KwaZulu-Natal premier candidate Ubaba Swakela wakamwaga.
Hoi hoi, Zakela, hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Viva Zakela, viva. Viva.
Let's welcome our Northwest premier candidate, Uncle Joe McLever.
Uncle Joe McLever. Uncle Joe McLever. Viva Uncle Joe McLever, viva.
Viva.
Hoi hoi, Uncle Joe McLever, hoi hoi.
Let's welcome our Limpopo premier candidate, Utata Josport.
Tata Jack, halala. Hoi hoi, Tata Jack, hoi hoi. Viva Brazak, viva.
Representing the Free State, let's welcome Mayor Adeline Lotry.
Aye, Mayor Adeline, hoi hoi, Mayor Adeline, hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Viva Mamu Adeline, viva. Viva.
Let's welcome our Western Cape Premier candidate, Ntate Ellen Waiting.
Hoi hoi, bra Alan, hoi hoi. Viva, bra Alan, viva. Viva. Amanda. Amanda. Bye, bananas.
Ladies and gentlemen, our Eastern Cape Premier candidate, Utatu Ngaba. Bada.
Lini wabunwaba li. Viva. Tata wabunwaba tata. Tata.
Our Gauteng Premier candidate, Salim Simaga.
Hoi hoi, Salim Simaga, hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Viva Salim Simaga, viva. Viva. Aye, Salim Simaga, aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our Deputy Federal Chairperson, Ntate Mark Waters.
Hoi hoi, bra Mark Waters, hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Viva bra Mark Waters, viva. Viva. Amanda.
Our second Deputy Federal Chairperson, Dr. Ivan Meyer.
Dr. Ivan Meyer, viva. Hoi hoi, Dr. Ivan Meyer, hoi hoi.
Let's welcome our third Deputy Federal Chairperson, Mary Philanthage.
Hoi hoi, Rafina Tsaka, hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Tabafazi. Watiti Tabafazi.
Watiti Bogoto.
Watiti Bogoto.
Watiti Tabafazi.
Uzakufa. Stop. Amanda.
Away to.
Amanda.
Away to.
Forward, DA, forward.
Forward.
Forward, DA, Hailala. Johnny Kuke. DA, Hailala. Johnny Kuke. DA, Hailala. DA, Hailala. Amanda! Away to Amanda! Away to Amanda!
Away to
Tata,
tata.
Tata.
Ala,
Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mbokodo. She is a fire eater. In her own right, she always is the champion of democracy. She has toppled down firms like Bal Pottinger that sought to destruct this nation. It is none other than the powerhouse, our Shadow Minister of Communications, Provincial.
Tata Provincial, tata. Ala, Provincial, ala.
Watinta mafasi.
Watinta Bogoto.
Watinta mafasi.
Watinta Bogoto.
Watinta mafasi.
Watinta Bogoto.
Forward, Provincial, forward.
Forward.
Amanda. Watinta mafasi.
Watinta Bogoto.
Oyo, Provincial fanda moyoi.
Democrats, it is good to be here today. Today we will officially release the full details of our manifesto. But we have 12 weeks left until the election, and let us be activists and go into people's homes and tell them what the Democratic Alliance is about. We are a party that is building a better South Africa. We are a party that is for one South Africa for all. We are a party that acknowledges that the legacy of apartheid lives on and needs to be redressed. We are blessed to have a leader who leads from the front, who works twice as hard as we do. He is an activist himself because he knows that in order to lead, you must listen. So he goes to people's homes, he listens to their concerns, and then on that basis decides what is good for South Africa.
Bua.
He is a leader, the only leader in South Africa who is uniting South Africa. It's easy to say, Tina, we are for blacks, Tina, Lungu. What we are doing is uniting South Africa. Because if we do not unite as South Africans, if we do not put our differences aside, we will not be able to prosper. So we are grateful for the leader we have and the tough job that he has and how hard he works in order to build a better South Africa. He is not only working for the Democratic Alliance, he is working for a better South Africa. He is working for every single South African so that we can have a good South Africa.
Yeah.
Viva our leader, viva!
Viva!
Viva our leader, viva!
Viva!
Amandla!
Amandla!
Let's go out the next 12 weeks. Let's work hard. Let's go door to door because we can win. And today, listen to the details of our manifesto because everyone needs to know about the great plan we have for South Africa. So let's go out there and let's win. Viva DA, viva!
Viva!
Viva DA, viva!
Viva!
Yeah, boy.
Aye, Provincial Phantom, aye! Amanda! DA, FIFA! Viva South Africa, FIFA! Viva DA, FIFA! Viva South Africa, FIFA! Fellow South Africans, please stand up for the moment you have been waiting for. The 2019 Manifesto launch of the Democratic Alliance. Forward, South Africa, forward! Forward! Forward, South Africa, forward! Democrats, it's time. It's time to fight corruption. It's time for fair access to jobs. It's time for honest professional police. It's time for secure borders. It's time for service to be delivered faster. It's time for change. Johannesburg. Please welcome the leader of the Democratic Alliance and the next president of South Africa. Democrats, make some noise for Mr. Musi Maimane. Out in a Batinezi abesukumizo. Oh yeah, Ezeguyo. Batinezi abesukumizo. Oh yeah, Ezeguyo. Batinezi abesukumizo. Oh yeah, Ezeguyo. Estamos como un lelo. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's a good. Oh yeah, it's a good. I'll see a social my money. Oh yeah. bathule nje baziqiniso awuye bathule nje baziqiniso awuye bathule nje baziqiniso ala yo Ezeguyo. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Ezeguyo. Ausikokele my money. Oh yeah. Ezeguyo. Ausikokele my money. Oh yeah. Bathule nje baziqiniso oh yeah Ezeguyo baphethe isikhwama esiphuma umlilo oh yeah Ezeguyo awusikhokhele my money awusikhokhele my money awusikhokhele my money oh yeah Ezeguyo bathule nje baziqiniso oh yeah Ezeguyo bathule nje baziqiniso oh yeah Ezeguyo baphethe isikhwama esiphuma umlilo oh yeah Ezeguyo awusikhokhele my money oh yeah Ezeguyo awusikhokhele my money oh yeah bathule nje baziqiniso Ezeguyo baphethe isikhwama esiphuma umlilo oh yeah awusikhokhele my money oh yeah Ezeguyo awusikhokhele my money oh yeah Ezeguyo awusikhokhele my money awusikhokhele my money awusikhokhele my money awusikhokhele my money bathule nje baziqiniso oh yeah Ezeguyo bathule nje baziqiniso oh yeah ladies and gentlemen are you ready Ezeguyo awusikhokhele my money oh yeah Ezeguyo awusikhokhele my money oh yeah Ezeguyo
ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our federal leader, Ntata Bose Maimane.
Oh ya Rona oh ya Rona oh ya Rona oh ya Rona oh Oh ya rona, oh ya rona, oh ya rona, Choma, irima kwala acheche, oh ya rona, Choma, irima kwala acheche, oh ya rona.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us all rise to attention for the national anthem. May we all quiet down and stand to attention for the national anthem.
For President, viva! Viva! Viva Mmusi Maimane, the next president of South Africa, viva!
Viva! Hey, Dumela! Le guy! Democrats! And all across the country, to members of parliament, members of the provincial legislature, mayors, councillors, ambassadors, all the traditional leaders who are here, religious leaders, distinguished guests, DA activists, hola! Hola, dear activists, hola!
Hola!
Fellow South Africans, bagaetso, dumelang! Hey, it's so good to be here today. Because I want to tell you, in 2016 we came here and we said to the people of South Africa, one day the DA will be in government in Johannesburg, in Tshwane, in Nelson Mandela Bay. They said to us it would never happen.
Eku. Tshwane is blue. Joburg is blue. Siriakopili kare Gauteng, we are coming. Amandla. You see, they keep telling us over and over again what the DA can and can't do. They say you've got no chance, never lekone. And I'm here to tell them, look around you. These are proud South Africans who have done it before and they're about to do it again in 2019. Amandla! Fellow South Africans, I want to say, you all look beautiful. It is so good to see everybody here. It's a wonderful sight. And I want to say to all the Team 1SA members who are here, I am so grateful to see, because it tells me that you guys care about our amazing country. I want to tell you, South Africa is a beautiful country. I've traveled to enough places and you will never find a more beautiful country than South Africa. And I tell you, we are all here because we want to be a part of a solution. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, you are part of the solution in South Africa. Fellow South Africans, we are here because we believe in the power of this beautiful country. We believe that this country is worth fighting for. And so long as Repela, we will always be a beautiful nation, a more optimistic and a strong group of South Africans. I want to tell you something. Our people shine regardless of what happens. And so today, we want to celebrate those who lift South Africa up as our heroes in this country. These are sporting giants who've risen to high levels in the sporting world. And I want to say to Caster Semenya, you are our hero and we stand with you, Caster. These are sporting heroes like Bo Wade, Bo Chad, and Luvo, champions who have flown the South African flag in the biggest stages. They are giants in business. Bontate Maponya from Soweto to Adrian Gore. These are South Africans who have conquered the world in the world of business. There are such beautiful musicians like Ladysmith Black Mambazo who are performing on high stages like John Kani in Black Panther. There are South Africans who have flown rockets, who have flown to space and launched their own rockets. These are South Africans that we stand with today who have developed their own rocket fuel. And I'm talking about Usiabulela Kuza, a young South African from the township of Umtata, has ended up on the halls of Harvard. These are incredible South Africans. Fellow South Africans, net hierdie week is a young man van Paternoster, Kobus van der Merwe, se Weskus restaurant bekroon as die beste restaurant in die hele wêreld. Dit maak my baie trots. En ek wou net sê, Kobus, ek hoop binnekort sal ek kom daar om iets te laat eet, jy weet. But I want to tell you, fellow South Africans, we have shown time and time again that we are a nation of champions. That when we are called upon, we can compete with the best and beat the best in the world. That's what makes us who we are. It reminds me that in fact, the problem is not with us. It's not with us as a people. I know the people of South Africa, we can do anything. It is within the character of our people to do great things. To be South African is to be resilient, it is to be strong, it is to be proud. This is who we are, and I think from time to time we must celebrate the beauty of our nation and the beauty of our people. Amandla! don't just celebrate heroes like Botata Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, but I want to also celebrate the everyday heroes. It's a story of the single mother who wakes up all day, works hard to raise her children, confronts poverty, which has become more feminine, against all odds. Despite the threat to her own safety, this is a South African who knows that she stands for a family and she will give everything in a country that is so female household. We celebrate South Africans like her. It is indeed, fellow South Africans, the young father who takes on his responsibility and takes care of his child. It's the father who stays with his family despite what is going on and becomes a role model for his children. It's our teachers. You know, many of our teachers go to schools that sometimes don't have the right technology, don't have all of that. But it's those teachers who get up every day. It's those nurses who, even though they go to hospitals without roofs, but they are willing to stand up. It's those policemen and women who, even though they face great danger, still wake up every day to say, I will protect our citizens. I wish they were paid more, but I want to thank them for the incredible work that they're doing as proud citizens of our country. I want to tell you, it's those NGOs, those NGO workers, and the church volunteers who help feed the poor in poorest communities. Those are heroes. It's the businessman who works hard and sacrifices profit only so that he can keep the people at work in a time where South Africa faces recession. It's the ordinary people around us. It's the people of our nation who, even though on Twitter and social media we got confronted with people who want to stoke up racism, but it's these South Africans who choose to see the heart of the person rather than the color of their skin. These are South Africans that remind me how great a nation we are.
Booah!
We don't, fellow South Africans, have a shortage of heroes. But I want to tell you about my own hero. My own father. Ntatwaka. Uteng mo stadium ka jeku. Utlile mme wa ka le and my family who are here. Ke a leboga batho.
Hoi hoi! Hoi hoi!
I want to tell you why I think my father is my own hero. His priority in life was always to look after his own family, my two sisters and my brother and I. Ntatwaka believed that his first responsibility as a father was so that he could work hard, and he always made sure he could just do just that. Every day, it didn't matter whether it was raining, whether the sun was shining, the taxi to Dobsonville and take many fathers to places of work. Early in the morning they would go, they would know one thing, they are doing this for the sake of their children. As a black South African living under apartheid, there was no ways my father would ever be able to be the owner in that business. Yet he knew just by having a job, he would get home late every night, he would then do it all over again the following day. He never complained. They kept going. They kept going even though it was difficult. He and many fathers from our townships, Batsamaya, Babereka, Basacrifice for Banababon. And I want to say, they did it, even though under apartheid in the most brutal circumstances, they did it because they all held on to a hope that the future of their children will be better than the circumstances that they found themselves in.
Yeah.
Fellow South Africans, I want to say this. Ultimately, all of us wake up believing that our children must have a better tomorrow. Ke bontate le bomme who struggle day in, day out. Ba sokola, ba tsamaya, ba ya mmereko. Sometimes mmereko ba sa enjoying, mar ba itse gore ba tlo berekela bana ba bone. It's the South Africa we want to build, where people ba ba tlo bereka ba shebile bokamoso ba bana ba bone. It's why, fellow South Africans, my father worked as hard as he did. He made sure that he knew the only way they could get through is to get an education. That's what he worked for. And I remember one day, Ntatuaka sat with me and said, wait again, Mus. Let me tell you something. I would rather go without socks. Booah! I really do believe he truly would have given up everything so that his kids would have a better tomorrow. You see, that's a South African story. It's the child of migrant workers who ends up being the leader of the opposition in South Africa. That's the beauty of our nation. And I want to tell you something. What my father also knew is that things don't just happen. Isn't as mele zenzeke. We are pagama, we are zenzela when wako. You have to make things happen. You have to create the future you want. And for him, this meant giving me an education that would open doors. This is why, fellow South Africans, my own father is my own hero. But I want to tell you, he's not alone. Because Koka, I see everywhere where I see there are people who are committed to that dream. Growing up in the 80s and in the early 90s, I got to experience the very best and the very worst of our country. From apartheid state of emergency to the joy of our first democratically elected elections. My childhood had it all. By the time Nelson Mandela was freed and walked out of the doors of Victor Verster, I remember it all too well, the optimism that filled our country. It was everywhere. We felt like, hey man, this was the birth of a nation. We could go somewhere. We could triumph over a system that locked out so many. It felt that freedom was now possible for all of us, not just for the few. South Africans. And when the time came for the people of South Africa to make their mark in the first democratic elections, they did what every post-colonial nation in Africa has done. They put their trust in a party that liberated them. Their choice was never in doubt. If anyone was going to deliver that dream, it meant that that party, that liberation movement would do it. Our liberators had promised us on the day that they would deliver a better life for all of us. In those early days, I think many of us felt like somewhere. We were getting somewhere. In that generation of leaders led by people like Nelson Mandela, our government started to build schools, they started to build houses, they started to build hospitals. Even back then, they connected communities to electricity grid and to clean water. We signed a new constitution which contains so many of the values of our great nation. The values that are so described by a South African who I draw great inspiration from. Someone like Helen Suzman. You know why? Viva Helen Suzman, viva!
Viva!
Viva Helen Suzman, viva!
Viva!
I celebrate Helen Suzman because here was a woman who stood alone, but even though she did not share the faith or the gender or in fact the race of the people that she fought for, she knew that the pursuit of equality was a pursuit that was worth pursuing. Amandla! She knew back then that it was possible to build a South Africa which belonged to all, black and white. She laid the foundation for the party that now I see around me today. A party that represents black people, white people, Indian people, colored people, South Africans who are rich, South Africans who are poor. We are a party for all South Africans. The new South African Party. Amandla!
Away to.
Those early days of our democracy felt great. We were a country that was overcoming its brutal past, and we set ourselves up for a better tomorrow. One South Africa for all. But then, I don't know about you, it feels like something happened. Something altered that course. Our leaders began to change and they lost sight of our goals. They realized where they can make money out of every job, out of every contract, out of every purchase that was involved in government. The posters on one side still said a better life for all, but all of us knew what it truly meant was that it was a better life for some, for those who are connected to them, for those who are family members, and they forgot about the rest of us in South Africa. Wow! While too many of our people, millions, did not have water, some were drinking the finest champagne from the stage.
From a greasy.
Bobangata ba rona ha bana dijo, batho ba rona ba bolaiwa ke tlala, mare bone ha ba ya go di restauranteng ba ja dijo tse di majabajaba, ba nna le dikoloto tse di go godimo because ba lebetse ka batho ba rona. Wait a ya pitho. How fitla ko Soweto, how fitla ko Gong, you arrive, our people are standing in long lines. Tadi taxi, mare bone ba tsamaya ka dikoloi tsa majabajaba. Go monate for bone while our people are still struggling in South Africa. Bendisa Eastern Cape. Ithi xa ufika Eastern Cape uthi ujonga indlu yakhe ngulo rhulumente, ithi xa uyizimela kuyo nedonga liyakulandela. Awukhona nokuma endlini ngoba imvula xa inetha amanzi angena endlini, kodwa abanye bebehlala kwenye indawo enkandla, iinkomo zabo ziphila ubomi obungcono obudlula abantu bethu. Tata! Those who started off as liberators have ended up being the ones who are looting from our people. They started in the arms deal, they proceeded to Busasa, and now Bako VBS, when millions and millions of money has been stolen. They have stolen the dignity of our people, they've stolen the future of all South Africans. Fellow South Africans, today, 25 years into our democracy, batho ba ko machabeng ba santsane ba emetse metsi ko Free State. Today, 25 years into our democracy, our children are still dying in pit latrines. What kind of South Africa do we have when our children die in pit latrines? That is an injustice in our nation. We never thought our liberators would one day take their guns against our own people. You know, recently, malobanyana ne ke le ko kasi to kasi. Phela nna ke di tsamaya di kasi from Topsy to Orlando, ba go Orlando, ke a le ko Machabeng, di a hamba di eKhayelitsha, re tsamaya everywhere. But recently, Bensekaya, Eastern Cape, can't figure pandi figure endawo esada, eWhittlesea. Xa uthi uyajonga pha, uyabuza uba aphi amanzi apha. Bathi kum, hayi, urhulumente ufikile apha, wathi uzawufaka i-borehole apha. wathi xa ke ikhupha la borehole izinja ziwela pha zifele pha kula mgodi abantu bethu today basela amanzi anamathambo wezazinja eziwele pha. A dog falls into the pit that was dug so that our people can drink water, and yet still today our people are sharing water with dogs inside of them. That is not the South Africa we want. We want change, and we want it now. Amandla. We want change, and we want it now. You should ask yourself, why 25 years are these people still not having clean water from taps? You should ask yourself, Gorko Tsepisi, Kolimpopo, I met a grandmother, Otering Cheltiahe, I Kenya go VBS, Ebeba Tadizoti, Ukarhabalebala, Bautua Chelete Kukubaruna. They ended up, they are so greedy, they stole the hopes, they stole the future of that woman and the future of her children. You want to tell me that corruption doesn't have a victim? We want change, and we want it now. Fellow South Africans, it is that corruption that makes our mothers and our sisters do some despicable things so that they can get a job. But I want to tell you, corruption isn't just isolated to the people at the top. It's the ward council, and it makes our way all the way into the office of the president. It's that crooked ward councillor all the way to the top. Fellow South Africans, we need change. Our country has been sold off by those who swore an oath to protect our nation. We've just now learned, even from the Zondo Commission, that they are willing to sell off our country for bribe pack. Nagana, already sa struggle sabato for Louis Vuitton or for Jack Daniel. Aye, auna letswalo. Auna hlaso. I want to say this to you. This is not the South Africa we want. I'm here to declare today, enough is enough. Genoeg is genoeg. Hulikani. We need change, and we need it now. We need change, and we need it now. Fellow South Africans, this is not the future my father and fathers from his generation spoke about. I have spoken to more and more people who tell me the same story. They say they were forced to accept the hard truth that things could not change in our country with this government. Because they all keep thinking maybe the ANC will change. Hey, ANC ha tlo fetoga. Corruption e ba tsene mo mading. But you know what's true? Is that it's hard to admit this. When you have to turn away from a party that has liberated you, it's hard. It feels like giving up a family member. But when that family member threatens the future of your children, you don't have a choice, but you need change, and you need to make a tough decision, because we need change and we need it now. Let me tell you, I know exactly when it happened for me. One day, negile go Zanspruit. She's busy digging with her hands. I asked this woman, Mama, when's Antoni Ngoku? She says to me, I'm digging a toilet. I thought to myself, this is not the South Africa that we want. 25 years on, this truly disturbed me. It could have been your mother. It could have been your grandmother. Here she was, digging a hole from the ground. This is not the South Africa we want. Back then, 12 years ago, I thought to myself, wait, we simply can't carry on like that. If they can't do it for her, then what is the point of voting for this organization that would leave Bomkuku Basetsi Komrago? Like many South Africans,
I felt a great deal of disappointment. I had to confront a choice. Could I keep voting for a party that would let that woman dig her own toilet? Fellow South Africans, I want to say this. Our liberators have forgotten about us. Aribue, our liberators have forgotten about us. And I say this to you, fellow South Africans, at first we must be liberated, but then there comes a time where we have to liberate ourselves from the liberators. That day in Zanspruit, I learned two things. I want to be of service to our country. And if we are going to serve our country, it would never happen within the ANC. And let's now move, because we need a South Africa for all. Our country needed desperately a change. And I want to tell you something. I only knew that change can only come through the DA. It is the DA that South Africa and take us forward in a direction that that generation stood for. Amandla! I became serious about the fact that if we are going to make a difference, then the bottom line is that we must choose a government that delivers. And let me tell you something. The DA is that government, because where the DA governs, we deliver, and we deliver to all South Africans. Amandla! You must look around you. We have a track record of delivery. Our track record, yetsa baba ngukarba komvela. Why it's about Mvela Pandli? Rargo Premier League at deliver. Because actually it's a party that truly feels diverse. A party that can make sure that everybody who feels when other people want to divide us on the basis of race and say black people this side, white people that side, the DA stands united for all South Africans, working together to deliver for all our people. Amandla! This is a party that has never stolen money from anybody, because we know when people entrust us with their money, we spend it on the people, not on corruption. We are a party that says there's zero tolerance for corruption. It's not empty words. We are doing it. Fellow South Africans, these are the facts that convinced me back then that the DA was the future. And I want to tell you, these are the facts that convinced me that the DA is a party for the future. You can have your opinion about the DA, but you can't have your own facts. The facts speak for themselves. Amandla! I decided that if I was going to be of any service, I was going to work through the DA. It had to be the DA. And once I made that leap in my mind, I knew that I can picture South Africa where the government works for all the people. I knew we could achieve it. Fellow South Africans, let me tell you something. By the time I joined the DA, already we were making a difference in communities. I'm proud that our party delivers for all South Africans. In 10 years, the DA has taken the Western Cape from a province that was getting not clean audits now today to the best run province in South Africa. Halala, Western Cape, halala. Halala. When we came into government in 2009, the DA, that government there was not getting a single clean audit in any department. Now today, we are getting 83% of all departments in the Western Cape are getting clean audits. The second best province is only 52% get clean audits. But let me tell you what clean audits mean. Clean audits mean that we can use public funds are not wasted. They are not stolen. No money is stolen. It means that we take that money and spend it on the people, and we deliver on the promises that we say. Amandla. Two. The
best proof why the DA is the best government in the country is because unemployment in the Western Cape is 11 points below the rest of the country. Which means in the Western Cape, where people need a job, they get a job. And in other provinces, jobs are getting less and less. In the DA, jobs are getting more and more. Amandla!
Away.
And I want to tell you this. Over the past year, more than half of the jobs that were created in South Africa were created in a DA-led Western Cape. And I want to say this up front. I want to thank the great achievement and the contribution that has been made by Premier Helen Zille. And I want to say you have done this country proud. And I know that Premier Ellen Windi will continue the incredible work that we are doing in that province. Amandla.
Away.
I equally want to say that I want to bring the same government to here in Gauteng. Who knows, we are going to win here in Gauteng. Amandla.
Away.
We're going to do it in the Northern Cape, and we're going to do it ultimately in the whole country. Because Democrats, the DA brings change that delivers jobs. More recently, the DA took over the metros in Joburg, Tshwane, and Nelson Mandela Bay through coalition governments. And in a very short space of time, we have started to make a huge difference. Over the past year, Mayor Mashaba's administration has created well over 100,000 jobs in Johannesburg. Halala, Mashaba, halala.
Halala.
He has started already cleaning out corruption in the city of Johannesburg. He's already initiated thousands of investigations that have led to over 362 arrests, 16 suspensions, and ultimately 27 dismissals. We haven't just gone for the officials. We are also going for politicians. How only politiki, only corrupt, Amandla. I celebrate the fact that Mayor Mashaba has built a power station for the people of South Africa and saved 50 million rands and delivered that power station on time. Mayor Msimanga arrived at Tshwane to an administration that was bloated, overstaffed. And Operation Now, he's turned it into a professional, a lean machine that delivers for all the people. From being 2 billion rands in debt when he took over Tshwane in 2016, the city of Tshwane now today has a surplus for the first time in many years. Halala, DA halala.
Halala.
I want to tell you, across South Africa, DA governments have done more to empower people through work, through a better service delivery, and through property ownership. You see, we believe our people must own land in their own rights. In the past 10 years, the DA government of the Western Cape has made more than 100,000 families property owners with full title deed. Just in the last 2 years, Mayor Mashaba's administration has delivered over 6,000 titles to family members. And my dream is that we can build a South Africa, whether urban or rural, where our people can own land in their own rights. Amandla.
Away.
We are changing municipalities from Mudimule to Tabazimbi, and we are demonstrating that in all corners of South Africa, our people are delivering. But let me say this to you, fellow South Africans. Our opponents can sit in corners, they can call us names, they can say things about the DA. What they can't change is the facts. Where the DA governs, we deliver, and we deliver to all the people. But let me highlight this. Where the DA is in place, more people find work because the DA governs. Where the DA governs, more people get quality health care because we build world-class hospitals in places like Ekhayelitsha. Today, they've got incredible hospitals. They don't get to be dropouts before they hit matric because the DA governs. We make sure our kids can get through school. I want to tell you, where the DA governs, more people have got access to electricity and running water because we don't steal public money. We spend it on the people of South Africa and communities. No matter which way you look, where the DA is governed, we are simply in a different league. We are on another level. But let me say this. Yes, the DA has its shortcomings. Yes, we make mistakes. But I want to promise you this one thing. We have never lied to our people. We would never lie to our people. And I want to say this. I will make you a promise, and we intend to keep those promises. We don't want broken promises. We want to live in a country where one day life as a Dimeni would never happen under a DA government, and state capture would never happen under a DA government. That's why we need change, and we need it now. We wake up every morning animated by the idea that we must deliver for our people. Fellow South Africans, if you ever think that there's a time now that we must bring South Africa together and turn things around, it is now. Kinako. We need change, and we need it when? Now. We need change, and we need it now. Our country is heading towards over the cliff. Over 10 million of our countrymen cannot find work. Our national debt now sits at over 3 trillion rand. We have a power utility that is bankrupt, that simply cannot keep the lights on. We need change, and we need it now. We're fast approaching the day when there'll be more people who are unemployed than the people who are at work. This is deeply worrying. I want to say this, fellow South Africans. All I hear is a year of summits, a year of talk shops, a year of turnaround strategies. I'm tired of turning around. We need change, and we need it now. We've given them 25 years. 25 years is enough. Because after 25 years, you can't be watching this space. After 25 years, our people can't be drinking water with animals. After 25 years, our people cannot be hungry. We need change, and we need it now. We need to do it right now, fellow South Africans. Now is the time, and I have a plan. We've become a country that's split into two. A country of the haves and the country of the have-nots. A country of insiders and a country of outsiders. Those with jobs and those without jobs. We've got to bring change. We no longer need a liberation movement. We need a vision for South Africa, a vision led by a party that is focused on the future, and that party is the DA. There can only be one future in South Africa, and that future must be led by the DA. Amandla!
Away. True.
Let me tell you something. Our task is to build one South Africa for all, where no one is left behind. That's where you and I come in. It is a South Africa that can only be built by the DA government. It will not take us another 25 years because we need change, and we need an immediate action right now. If you are with me, if you share this vision of a country that we want to help, that I want you to help me to build, I want you to stand with us because we have no more time to waste. The DA has a plan. It's called an agenda for reform. This manifesto, is a blueprint to build a government that works for the people. A government that will only appoint the best people to come and work in government, so that we can ensure that we attract the people into government who will serve the people of South Africa, not just serve their political party. It's this vision for South Africa. Fellow South Africans, let me tell you what this agenda looks like. For starters, I want to build a country that works, where our citizens get up to go to work, and a government that works for all of its citizens. Our vision can be summed up in one word. I want a job in every home. I want a job in every home. Give us a miracle, momalapeng. Sifuna umsebenzi emakhaya.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever lived in a house without a job, you are going to struggle. And I want to say this to you. Too many of our households don't even have a single income coming into the house. If we can put a job in every home, we can transform our society. We can move our houses into homes. There is a freedom and a dignity that comes with having a job. It means somebody doesn't have to worry about what they are going to eat that night. It means a job in every home where no one will ever go to bed hungry again in South Africa. This is how we want to build this South Africa. I want a job in every home. Amandla. And we're going to do this by allowing those who are heroes of job creation to be able to create jobs. We want to make sure small businesses become entrepreneurs to do what is best. We will rebuild our economy by maximizing the sectors that are key to job creation. Sectors like manufacturing, agriculture, and tourism. Fellow South Africans, our manifesto will pass the Jobs Act, which will allow for tax incentives for people to come and open businesses that will create jobs. We will ensure that we introduce a year's program where our young people can work for 1 year. We will pay them so that they can learn the skills in government and the dignity to have a job. Amandla. This will create a bridge between school leavers and those in the world of work. Fellow South Africans, I also have a dream of making all South Africans owners of their home with full title, both in urban and rural communities. It's a system. I don't want a place in this country where people are at the mercy of the state. We don't just oppose the Constitution for the sake of it, the amending of the Constitution for the sake of it. We want to ensure that Section 25 is protected in the Constitution so that our citizens can become owners, not tenants of the state. We have shown more than everywhere that we can deliver land reform within the Constitution, and our people know that they can settle compensation through our legal system rather than allowing politicians to decide who will own land and who can't own land. We will never again enslave our people to be people who work for the state. I would rather have our people be owners of their land. This is indeed true freedom. Amandla. I want our people to own land because property ownership is everything. It allows you to borrow money against that property. It allows you to take your kids to school and make sure they have a life that they can choose. But I also want South Africans to have a choice, which is why we are going to introduce a housing voucher where people can either use it to build their houses as a down payment on that house. I want a South Africa where we can find estate agents, Gobo Alexander, and communities like Khayelitsha, not just in Sandton, and properties that I want property to have value everywhere. That's true freedom. Fellow South Africans, I want to make sure our people can own their homes so that they can feel safe in them. It's high time now that we make sure that our people will know that we'll have a well-trained police officers that will keep our streets safe. In the South Africa I want to build, we are going to make sure that our police service is well trained. It focuses on the province. It is led by people who are professional. And ultimately, we can build a partnership between provincial police and metro police so that we can arrest the criminals who are terrorizing our streets. And we want a police service that works. Advil seker maak that for all those who are living in farms, they have a rural safety unit that will make sure our farms are protected. Fellow South Africans, I want homes to become places of dignity where we can have separate rooms for parents and children. So that it means well-built homes. Homes that have got electricity, running water, and flushing toilets. I want to speed up the delivery of basic services for all South Africans so that our people can enjoy the basic rights of the Constitution. I want our country to have an empowerment model that truly empowers more citizens. Isn't the politically connected? Let's give shares to the people who work in communities rather than politicians who are connected. Let those who work in the mine own shares in that mine. Amandla. We've got to build a model that transforms our society and builds an inclusive economy that addresses the historical injustices that were committed against black South Africans. Fellow South Africans, I want to build a better country where the most vulnerable don't have to suffer from poverty. I know what it's like to raise kids, and 400 ranta is not enough. We are going to increase the child grant so that it's a living grant so that our people buy it. I want to make sure that our country have got secure borders so that anybody who wants to come in legally is welcome to come in. But those who want to come in illegally, we can be able to ensure that our borders are secure. I want to build an energy secure and a sustainable country thanks to our renewable energies to make sure that we are ready for climate change and we can build a sustainable South Africa. We will be and build a future that makes sure our kids are prepared for that future. Fellow South Africans, our world is changing and we need to prepare our kids for it. I want to build an ICT infrastructure that will allow our citizens to become digital citizens. And finally, I want to make sure that you can live in a country that builds one South Africa for all. And you can read more about it in this manifesto. I want to say to all the politicians, if you are corrupt, you are going to spend at least 15 years in jail. Genoeg is genoeg. I'm going to introduce an anti-corruption unit staffed by both specialist prosecutors and investigators. Tenders will no longer be issued behind back doors. They must be issued in front of our people. Fellow South Africans, I will have zero tolerance for corruption. This is the only way we build our country. But let me say this to you. We will build a South Africa where no one is left behind. Fellow South Africans, and yes, we can afford it. We can afford it by selling SOEs that don't work. We can afford it by cutting down ministries. We can afford it by slashing down the cabinet. If we stop wasting money, we can be able to afford the dream to build our South Africans. I am calling on labor. I'm calling on business. I'm calling on political parties. Let us sit around the table and have an agenda for reform, an agenda for South Africa. We can either talk past each other, we can strike past each other, but now is the time that we place South Africa and build a South Africa for all. We will only coalesce with people who stand for the dream. I want to call on everybody who's in the stadium. I want you to stand to your feet right now, because here we are today. We are about to build a South Africa. If you are going to help me do this, I want you to be part of the dream. I want you to rediscover the optimism of this country, why this nation is so great. I want you to remember the dream that once we had as all South Africans that all those years ago. I want all of you to remember why so many gave up their lives so that we can enjoy this freedom. Now is the time. We need change and we need it now. We need a South Africa where many who have sacrificed will know their sacrifices were not in vain. I want to think of all parents and fathers, people who left the homelands to come and find a dream in Gauteng. Those are the ones who moved away even from their loved ones. They stood up for that dream. They knew that one day South Africa will be a country they could call home and be proud of. My parents, my mother left at Ofimvaba, Eastern Cape, Utatam, Wapuma, Atswakobutsukuputatswana. They came here in South Africa, in Gauteng. They found work. They wanted to build a Joburg. I was grateful that they had a job. I want that dream for more South Africans. I want a job in every home. And if you believe it, I want you to stand up and know we have a freedom to preserve, a country to stand for. They may not have the great jobs. They may not have had the best jobs, but they stood up for this country. They stood up for our nation. Because when you have a job, you have a choice. Freedom is a choice. So fellow South Africans, I want to build a country where our kids will know when they go to school, there'll be teachers in those schools. I want to build a country where when you have a job, you can choose which clinic you want to take your child to. I want to build a country where if you have a job, you don't have to worry about what you're going to eat that night. This is the South Africa we want, and I know it's possible. I know freedom is possible. And this freedom can only be possible if we put a job in every home. Fellow South Africans, we need change, and we need it now. We need change, and we need it now. Because this is the cause for our generation. Help me achieve this. This is our choice that we've got to give up our socks for. It's time now that we roll up our sleeves. It's time now that we stand together and build a future for all South Africans. We are proud South Africans. We are heroes. We've done great things and we can do it again. Many people thought 94 would never be possible, but my parents and your parents gave up bullets so that they could stand up for ballots. In this election, it's your opportunity to pick up your pen and come and vote for a party that delivers, a party that stands for all South Africans, a party that will put a job in every home, a party that will make sure we're safe. We're going to get right back up there. We're going to build a South Africa. Come on. I'm calling on you. Let's stand together. On the 8th of May, we can create an economy that creates jobs. We can build a country that has a future for all our people. Let's build a better tomorrow, and let's start by changing this government. So if you want a government that will work for you, vote DA.
Yeah,
if you want a government that will deliver jobs for you,
vote DA.
If you want a government that will not steal your money and use the money for the people,
vote DA.
We can make history. We can build one South Africa for all. And we can march together to bring change in Gauteng, Northern Cape, Western Cape, and the rest of the country. God bless South Africa. God send South Africa. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our beautiful land. God bless you. Amandla.
As South Africans, we come from a hard past. In many ways, we are still a nation divided. A nation with a hard future ahead. We are used to living in a world of us and them. The ones we trust and those we don't understand. Those who have and those who have not.
I'm sure many of you are wondering why you are here and why you are standing in the boxes that you are standing in. Many times, people want to tell us who we are, what we are, because of how we look. So today, we want to tell a different story.
When we take the time to really see one another, then there is us. Those who voted in 1994 and those who were born free. The breadwinners and those of us desperately looking for a job. Some of us love Gqom and some can't pronounce Gqom. And then there are those who simply love to dance. Despite our differences, there is more that brings us together than keeps us apart. And then there are those of us who worry about our children's future. And those who don't feel safe in their homes. Too many of us are struggling to make a living. But all of us dream of a better tomorrow. We who refuse to give up hope. We who refuse to be divided. We who want to work together to realize the vision of Nelson Mandela. United, we will bring a better future for all of us. United, we are Team One South Africa for all.